Several years ago, well, quite a while ago actually, there were two Americans, a couple. They recently married. They were both scholars. They were archaeologists, and they were in South Korea to take up some treasures from the Joseon or the Joseon dynasty. Joseon depends on the Korean dialect, how you pronounce it. And while being there, they received a residence permit from the South Korean government to purchase a house. And at the time, it was quite difficult for foreigners to get a residence permit in South Korea. So the Americans, well, they went to look for a house. And they found out that the Korean real estate system is quite complicated. And they figured out that it was so complicated to prevent foreigners from mingling with the native population. Well, the Americans, well, they understood it. They didn't feel discriminated because they realized, well, these people have their country. They've just been occupied by Japan for 35 years. And now they're divided into being North and South, so we don't want to bother them. This happened in the 90s. Okay, this parable I'm speaking about. At the time, there were more tensions also between North and South. There was also an alleged famine in the North. So there were a lot of refugees from the North coming to the South, all of that. But, okay, this is just a parable, remember. The couple, one day they traveled to a small town near Busan, that's in the south, and there they were offered a villa and a large plot of land. The land even had a beach attached to it. And the couple was surprised, because normally foreigners could only get apartments and very small houses, and only in Seoul, in the capital, or in Busan. But this real estate agent offered them this luxurious home, and for only $300,000. And they also had a railway station nearby to go to Busan directly. So it all seemed very well. After about 4 years in South Korea, they thought, finally we can settle here. They loved the country, they even spoke the language, and they had recently a young daughter who was 4 years old, who also spoke Korean besides English. So they thought, okay, things are working out. But then there was a Korean guy who was an associate of the husband at a job, and the husband told them about them being offered this large plot of land with a villa near Busan. Then the guy asked, "Are you sure about it?" The American said, "Of course I'm sure about it. It's a reward for all we've contributed to this society." The husband and the wife were so they were so overjoyed with the offer they've got, and because it was affordable for them, that the Korean guy told them, "How many neighbors do you have if you buy that place?" And the husband said, "Well, there are a few houses nearby, just like ours, but they don't have such a large plot of land. And there's a postal office, and there's a small mall nearby." But then the Korean asked him, "Okay, well, how many real people are living over there? I mean, do you actually see a lot of people there?" Then the husband realized, hold on a minute, I didn't see many people around, just a few people. The husband said, "Well, just a few people." The Korean told him, "Man, I hate to tell you, but don't take that house. Don't take that home. I'm telling you, don't do it." Normally, the guy said normally such a house would cost around 10 to 50 million dollars in Korean currency. That's a lot. Only the super rich would purchase such houses. The fact alone that they offered it to you, foreigners, for such a low price, that's already a red flag. Okay, now this was in the early 1990s, this parable. There was internet, but not as widespread as now. There was no Google, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube. So to research things, most likely you had to go to the library. The couple decided to purchase the house anyway because they thought that Korean guy is just jealous because he's living in a very small apartment in Busan and his wages are smaller compared to theirs. They thought, okay, we have this blessing of him, we're not going to let it go. This is our chance. We're never going to get an offer like this anymore. So they took the house and they lived there for about a year. And then the wife one day was at kindergarten because she looked up kindergarten for her daughter. Her daughter blended well with the Korean children. And one of the women, who's the mother of one of her daughter's classmates, asked her, "Ma'am, you live in that extended house near the beach, right?" And she said, "Yeah, we do." Oh, okay. The woman just left. She didn't say anything anymore. So the wife began to do research. She went to a library in Busan to look in the archives about the environment. She looked up the town she was living in. Then she discovered something. She discovered, or let me say she found out, that after the Japanese occupation, during the Korean War, there was a group of soldiers that camps in that town. And those group of soldiers, they were rebels. They were not for the North, neither for the South. They were secret pro-Japanese people that want Japan to reoccupy Korea again. And they've dug a lot of mines in the environment. Afterwards, the South Korean army defeated them. And after they were defeated, a real estate agent began to build houses there. But in the years, in the 1970s and 1980s, there were residents that walked upon mines and they died or they lost some body parts. So when this happened, a lot of people moved out of the town. Some people remained, and other people were not aware of it, bought houses over there. And that large house at the beach, that place used to be the camping site of that rebel division. When the wife realized this, she realized, hold on a minute, that's why that colleague of my husband told us to not take the house. He wasn't jealous, he wasn't being mean, he was hinting to us that something wasn't right. When she arrived at home, she told her husband about it. Her husband didn't want to believe it. So her husband, just to prove it was all just an urban legend, he bought a metal detector and he began to use it throughout the land. One day when he was at his private beach, his metal detector detected something. So he began to dig and he found a corpse. Why? Because the corpse still had a medallion of the army attached to it. When he found that corpse, he became frightened. He realized that what his wife found out at the library was true. Now, okay, this was a parable. It was a very long one and detailed one. I understand that. What am I trying to teach you with this? There are times opportunities will pass you by. Or there was an opportunity whether someone was single that would have been that you thought may have been suitable to you, but you were not aware of it. Or maybe there was you want to start a career in business, and there was this this opportunity to invest in a mall. People didn't tell you about it, or you were so distracted by troubles that you didn't see it. I mean, things will happen through this lifetime that you will think that's not fair. Why did this happen? And when you are a believer, I'm talking believers now, you may think, Lord, why? Why didn't you inform me? Have the Holy Spirit. And according to you, something passed you by. That's how you experience it. Now let me tell you what is really happening. That idea of you missing an opportunity is a lie. It's a hoax. It's that same thing as that mindset of rejection. Rejection is a hoax. There is no such thing as rejection in objective realm. There isn't. Let me tell you what happened. You have been escorted away from something you don't want. That opportunity that you so-called missed, it wasn't really an opportunity. It was a trap. It was a trap you couldn't see as a trap. And look, when you want answers, when you want solutions, you want things to happen. And that's understandable. You want things to happen now. You don't want to take unnecessary risks. You just want things to happen. And a lot of people come to the desperate state that they just want things to happen. You get what I'm saying, and probably you've been there. Well, listen to me. That's a vulnerable state that you're in. And often you're not even aware you are in that vulnerable state. In that vulnerable state, you are susceptible. And you are easily drawn into traps. And Satan will use those vulnerable moments to trap you. Now look, that couple, let's say that family, they got a beautiful house with their own private beach. But here's the catch. There were mines under it, and there were corpses there. And besides that, there were still demons hanging around from the time those rebel soldiers were killed. They are not aware of it. The only thing they saw was a beautiful plot of land with their own private beach. They didn't see the bigger picture. They didn't look further. Just understand the following. There are times the Most High will allow something unfair to happen to you, not because you deserve it, not because He's not powerful to prevent it, but He will use an unfair situation to prevent you from something worse. He will use an unfair situation to lead you to better places, to lead you something that will last. I mean, okay, just a short example. Let's say you were in college and there was this, I'm talking to men now, okay, because this is a common thing that happens to men, okay. There was this, what they would call a beautiful woman, this hot chick over there, and you thought, man, is she single? And you were occupied with graduating, that was important to you, and later you found out that she was engaged, and at the time, that said about a year ago, she was single, and you were thinking, man, why? No, okay. You even prayed about it, but you thought, okay, she's already engaged, I'm not going to mess that up, I'm moving on. So you moved on. 5 years from then, you hear that that guy she was with is in prison. He is in jail for so-called raping his wife and sexual and physical abuse. But you don't know the full story. He's wrongly convicted, and even the judge of the case doubted whether the man was really guilty. The thing is, That so-called hot chick, that sexy lady that you thought, oh, that's a good opportunity for me. Well, she was a malignant narcissist. She had a lot of mental problems, and she had a lot of resentment towards her own father. And all the men she met, she projected that resentment onto. Well, at the time she saw you smiling at her, but though the divine intervention, she didn't got any interest in you. And you know what? That was God protecting you. You thought you missed something. You lost an opportunity. No, 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 that's a lie. That other guy she got involved with, well, he should have seen it coming because he noticed something was wrong with her, but well, he was so into getting laid. He won the jackpot. And the jackpot led him to jail, and now he has a record, his reputation is ruined. And for his whole life, he will carry a stigma, so probably he will never be taken seriously again in the business world. Okay, I'm going to close the recording now. I don't know what your circumstance is or what you think you've lost. Look at the bigger picture. You didn't lose anything. You didn't. You're still alive by the grace of God. You were redirected into better, into safety. That being said, be at peace.